The original Pokemon Adventures manga came out in March of 1997, just a month prior to the release of the first episode of the Pokemon anime. The Pokemon manga is still going on, and despite it running for over 20 years at this point, not too many people outside of Japan seem to care about it nearly as much as they care about the anime or the Pokemon games. The manga is generally an adaptation of the games, which is seen best in Red and Blue. However, the anime loosely follows the games and has its own twist to make it pretty different than the source material. This is why I've always thought of the Pokemon manga as being the real Pokemon story, since the manga is much more closely related to the games than the anime. All the main manga characters like Red, Green, and Gold appear in the games as well. Unlike in the anime where Ash has been the main protagonist for the whole series, the main protagonist changes in every different generation of the manga. This helps the manga feel fresh and new and just quite frankly more realistic instead of following the same character on his journey for 20 years through different regions and different areas. Before we get too far into this one, I am your host PaPaSea, and make sure you guys leave a like if you want to support the channel and subscribe if you haven't already for more Pokemon videos. Today we'll be talking about the Pokemon manga, and we'll mainly be focusing on the original Pokemon Adventures manga that features Red as the main protagonist, since it was the first and is arguably the most popular in the entire series. There are plenty of different spin-off Pokemon mangas such as the Electric Tale of Pikachu, and the main manga is still going on today with Sun and Moon in Generation 7, but let's just keep things simple and stick to Red in the original series. To give a brief, spoiler-free synopsis of the story, the main protagonist, Red, starts off in Pallet Town, very similar to his anime counterpart Ash. The key difference is Red already has a Poliwhirl on his team before starting his journey, and in the first few panels of the manga, Red is seen catching a Nidorino. Red later has a run-in with Team Rocket and his rival Green, also known as Gary in the anime, because they look exactly the same. And he eventually ends up in Professor Oak's lab to officially start his Pokemon journey. Here, Red gets a Bulbasaur as his starter Pokemon, so to say, even though he already has some Pokemon, and a Pokedex. The manga then follows the same route as the games for the most part. However, we are introduced to a female character, Blue, who actually ends up stealing Squirtle from Professor Oak. Didn't really see that coming, to be honest. It's rumored that Blue was originally supposed to be a playable female character in the original games, but was cut due to technical limitations. She's also seen briefly in the original Pokemon intro, at least this is believed to be her. This could mean that she was planned to be the anime as well, but to be honest, it seems like she's just a generic female character that just happens to be in the intro. It really is a shame that she wasn't at least included as a secondary rival in the game, kind of like how more recent Pokemon games from Generation 4 and onward include multiple rival-like characters that you encounter throughout the story. The manga also has more of an emphasis on Team Rocket, which can be seen as early on as in the first chapter, with members of Team Rocket even being gym leaders or in the Elite Four. This again unfortunately isn't in the games, which is another omission from the manga that I think would have given Generation 1 a more proper story. Luckily we have ROM hacks like Pokemon Adventure Red Chapter to experience Kanto in its true manga form. I could talk about this manga for hours after reading through it multiple times over the years, since it's just that good. The CEO of the Pokemon Company even stated that he thinks that all Pokemon fans should read the original manga, and I couldn't agree more. The manga is totally different from the lighthearted anime, and it even features some dark themes like Pokemon deaths in it. I'm not sure if that'll make you want to read the manga more or make you not want to read it. I wish that this manga was more popular outside of Japan, since Pokemon is one of the largest franchises in the entire world. The sad truth is manga just isn't as popular outside of Japan, since we don't have popular physical manga subscriptions anymore like they do in Japan with Koro Koro. We used to have Shonen Jump a few years ago, which is still around, however they unfortunately don't produce printed subscription-based manga anymore. Luckily, you can still find the original Pokemon Adventures manga pretty easily online or in most bookstores, and I highly encourage any Pokemon fan to read them. If you end up liking them, then you can read the other entries in the Pokemon manga series, however those might be a little bit harder to find. On Viz's website, the company responsible for translating and distributing the Pokemon manga in English, they have English versions of the Pokemon Adventures manga leading all the way up to the Emerald arc for sale on their website. I've seen a few other Pokemon Adventures manga online as recent as the Sun and Moon arc, however the newer ones are harder to come by in English. Even if you aren't a native English speaker, luckily they do have the original Kanto manga translated in a variety of different languages, so almost anyone is going to be able to read it. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about when it comes to the manga. Hope you guys enjoyed this video about the Pokemon manga, as I've been a fan of the original manga for years, and it really is a shame that this side of Pokemon really isn't talked about that much on YouTube at all. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever read the Pokemon Adventures manga, of course, or if you want to read it now after seeing this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys next time, and bye-bye.